Hi, welcome back to Wow on Wheels. Today we're going to continue on the project with the Mercurino? Mercero. I think that's what it is. We're changing the name. Okay, I'm just putting my foot down. Last video, there's a guy in there's trying to explain the name, and that's kind of the problem with the name. If you have to explain it, then it's terrible. Okay, and I get it. Pole Barn Garage did a great job, right? And I think he was focusing entirely all of his efforts on making the thing into the thing, and didn't put a lot of effort into the name. But that's okay. I've come up with a name. I've come up with a great name. It's so great. I'm pretty sure even though some of you guys out there are probably going to be mad, you can remember it as the Mercurino. You guys can remember it as the Mercero. If that's what you want, you could buy the car and then you could remove the name that I'm going to put on it. And that's also fine. Whatever. I'm renaming the car. We're going to be doing just a couple little simple things. We're going to get the battery tied down. We're going to get that in. The tack. We're going to get the tack installed. We're going to get that going. I do have an electric fuel pump because I'm kind of running into a little bit of a situation with the NOS install. It's not really a big situation. It's just a little bit of a situation with the NOS. You have to have 8 psi of gasoline supplied to the plate flowing, which means the solenoid has to be on and fuel has to be flowing through it, and you need to have 8 psi while it is actively flowing, not 8 psi deadhead, but 8 psi flowing. So I was thinking, like most vehicles, you usually have a supply line and a return line, and my initial plan was, it does still have the original mechanical fuel pump in it, so my initial plan was to go ahead and just use the return line and kind of tee into that, throw a nice electric fuel pump in there with a fuel pressure regulator running to it. We can do some tests and we can get stuff kind of set up and make it, get our 8 psi flowing. I really don't want to blow the engine up the first 2 seconds I go to run this thing. And that's one of the big things. Everybody says, don't put NOS on it, you're going to blow the engine up instantly. Well, you're not if you do it right. And I think one of the things a lot of people are not doing right is they set the fuel to 8 psi deadhead. They're not setting the fuel to 8 psi flowing. And so what happens if it's set at 8 psi deadhead, as soon as that solenoid opens and starts spraying the gasoline, the pressure is going to drop dramatically, right? If you have 8 psi flowing, when the system's off, it might be sitting at 20, 30 psi deadhead, and then as soon as that solenoid opens, now the pressure drops down to 8 psi. So we have to have that. We have to have the 8 psi flowing. If it's 8 psi deadhead and then it drops to 1 or 2 psi, you don't have enough gasoline going in for the amount of NOS that you have going in. The engine goes into a full lean condition and immediately blows up within seconds, like very, very quickly. The engine blows up. I want to try to avoid that because, you know, I'm gonna need this old girl to make it back up the hill and get me home basically after the races. So let's try to avoid that. But I do want to add, you know, a little pep in her step, kind of, you know, just have a little fun with it. So let's dive in with this. Also, this car is kind of a pile of crap. I know from a distance it probably looks pretty good, but it is rusted out bumper to bumper, inside and out, top to bottom. The entire car has license plate lights that are self-tappered to the side of the fenders and painted in order to look like they're not completely rusted out. There's rust holes in the frame. The entire top of the car is literally being held together with self-tappers and Bondo. Like, it's not structurally sound. The trunk lid of the car is the bulkhead beneath the rear windshield, or the rear window. It's kind of a piece of crap, right? So I'm not putting any kind of big money into this car, right? We're gonna keep it budget friendly. The other thing is I want you to be able to see, hey, go take that old car you got in the backyard. Yeah, it's rusted out. Yeah, it's kind of a piece of crap, but just go take it, go get it running, tinker with it a little bit, make it run pretty good, and go take it out to some test and tunes and some drag racing events that you got in your local town or city, and just go have fun with it, right? You don't need to have some crazy high-end, high-powered, $50,000 in the engine to go have a good time. You can, a couple, 2 or 3 grand and go have a good time. So that's where we're kind of at right now. All right, so we're gonna be using this battery hold down right here. This one's actually specifically designed for drag racing and burnouts. No, it's not. It's actually the cheapest one I could get my hands on. I think it was $7 or $10, but it's what was on there before. And as you can see, it just kind of, broke and died. So we're just basically going to replace the exact same thing with the exact same thing. So let's do that. There's actually one of the original brackets. If I can grab it. For the batteries still down there. And one of the wing nuts. I don't know if we're going to reach that. We got new wing nuts. This is the same size. Yep. Okay, perfect. Oh look, there's a wing nut right there. Sweet. We're going to leave that spare wing nut down there, and probably that guy, just in case somewhere between here and Tucson we end up losing some hardware. We'll just be able to reach down in there and grab a replacement. What in tarnation I got going on back here? Oh, I can hook you onto that right there, maybe. Nice little piece of plywood somebody cut out to be the exact right size. It's probably because the battery tray is completely rusted out. Perfect. We're gonna pre-install this side. Now we got 2 spares down there. Perfect. Shift it all back. Look at that. Perfect. Perfect. All right. That is a nicely secured battery. Okay. She's 4% closer to drag racing. Probably should get rid of this guy here. Okay, so let's take a look at this bad dude. What do we got going on here? Now this guy right here is actually the cheapest tack that I could find. Oh, it comes with really long wires. At O'Reilly's, I think it was like $50. 4, 6, 8. Let's go ahead and just put that on 8. because we got 8. 16 whole pints underneath the hood over there. So from what I can tell, this right here doesn't move. This down here doesn't move. This section right here in the middle moves with the shifter. You can see it move with the shifter. Now, the problem is on this panel right here, we got the blinker, right? And that's not going to really, you know, kind of get in the way of the blinker. And the other biggest issue is we have our ignition switch right over here, and you got to use a hose clamp, right, that goes around that to secure it to your location. So my thought process is actually to bolt it onto the part where it moves with the shifter. And what I'll do is, I need to grab the keys, but I'll actually have this so it rotates with the shifter, and when you have it in drive, then it'll be, you know, like, let's say in this general vicinity here. So you can just look at it through the steering wheel. Installation instructions, tachometer kit. There's English. All right, so I just wanted to jump you guys in here so you can see my sweet electrical job here. We got our Wagyu clips right there, and we got their lights, or dash lights there, and I even hooked those guys up. And we got our power wire there, you know, all teed in there. You know, I really like these Wagyu clips. You know, they come in really handy, you know, for things like this. You know, you can get your wires all hooked in there. You know, my buddy was telling me once, there's like some Chinese beef or something like that out there, the Wagyu beef. And every time I use these Wagyu clips, I always think of that Wagyu beef, and you know, I don't know, it's kind of funny. So we're gonna go ahead and take this guy right here, and we're just gonna stick it right there. And that'll be about, oil pieces, and sure. All right, let's boom. See what she does. Oh yeah, look at that. And we even got our voltages working. Temperature gauge has always been kind of, you know, here or there. Look at them oil pieces. I hope the alternator's working. Yeah, we don't got an alternator. All right, so I asked you guys last week what you would like to see me do with these horns, and I got 2 votes. One vote was paint them flat black, and the other vote was wrap them in leather. So we're doing both of them. As you can see, I painted it flat black, and it got me top of the line, pure grain Naugahyde. Yep. And that's what we're going to be putting on here. So let's do that real quick. Some people like calling it pleather. Some people like calling it Naugahyde. I'm a Naugahyde kind of guy myself. Something like that ought to do the trick. Self-tappers it is. Perfect. Pull it nice and tight. one more. Perfect. That looks pretty good. And, you know, if you almost squint and look at it from the distance, it almost looks like she's got chrome buttons. I think we should go ahead and install that on the car. All right. So, we got the horns here. Now we do have this rib piece that goes right through here. I don't know if I want to try to, you know, well, first off, are the U-bolts long enough? Hypothetically speaking, they are not. So we're gonna have to go on either side, which doesn't really give us much room. But we're gonna have to push it back a little further onto the hood. Something kind of like that. We could do something like that. Just kind of scoot them back a little bit. What if we got this insulation? Oh, oh, oh. We got the original build sheet. She was hiding right underneath this piece of little fiberglass there. So if you got one of these cars, check yours. That might be where she's hiding. I think we're gonna have to stop for a second. We're gonna have to check this bad boy out right here. Carbon paper, it's disintegrated really badly. What I got here? Mirror outside, inside, color. I got inside here. Okay, look, we got our pulley type right here next. So we got air cleaner type. So it's got the California version, maybe. I don't know if that's what the CA means. D11 tachometer battery. I don't know what D15 is. Alternator code 5A. Drive belt. 20 AS air conditioner drive belt. M2 AEVA console washers, wipers, defogger, no defogger, clock, locks, latch. Well, isn't that cool? She's obviously seen some better days, but drive shaft, speedometer, cable, gear. What we got here? Muffler. Drive shaft. Oh, rear axle. Tag numbers. 138A. I don't know what that means. Shocks. Suspension springs. There's your spring code. Stabilizers. Package. Nothing. Power steering. I mean, it's just disintegrating in my hands. I'm trying to salvage as much of this as I can, but we'll go ahead and stick that in the glove box for the next feller. Perfect. All right, does it fit? Oh, it fits so good. Perfect. Sharp drill bits are nice, man. I'll just tell you that much right now. Yes. Something like that. Yeah, that's It's looking pretty good. Let's put the bolts on underneath and let's lock her down. Perfect. Check this bad boy out. Yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah. All right, let's cut this guy off. It's just really messing up the body lines, you know, on this car. Perfect. Today's Bible verse, 2 Timothy 3:16 and 17. All scripture is inspired by God and is useful to teach us what is true and to make us realize what is wrong in our lives. It corrects us when we are wrong and teaches us to do what is right. God uses it to prepare and equip his people to do every good work. Perfect. I mean, if you ask me, now it's ready to go racing. This thing's still gonna be so slow. So I got the rest of the kit. I got the pressure gauge here so we can see what's going on in the bottle. We got our micro switch, little adapter plate, 16 feet of hose. Let's see, we got our solenoids here, gasoline, nitrous, toggle switches, oh, that's the little adapter doohickey mabob that goes onto here. I think I need the, I think I have it. This guy right here, that's the power outer right there. Gasoline goes on one side, NOS goes on the other. Comes with all the different jets for you to be able to go, I want to say like 50. Yeah, they're right there. 50 to 500 horse or something like that. All the jets are in there, so you can just pick how much horse torques you want. This is where the little pieces that the jets go into. They get a special Loctite. You know, you thread it in there. Nice little gasket here for your carburetor plate. It's for your canoodler valve. That's 16 feet. I just don't know from here to the carburetor. I mean, you know, the way the crow flies is probably 16 feet. But by the time you go down and over and then up and then back up, it's probably not. But we'll get started on that first thing next week. I think tomorrow we'll take this old girl out for a little spin around the block. You know, might even go to the Ace Hardwares or something like that. Just, you know, show it off around town. See what everybody thinks. We definitely got to do something. You know, we got her running. I mean, she was already running. What did we do this week? Not much. I worked late 2 days this week. That's why I didn't get, you know, to work on it as much as I wanted to this week. We got the horns installed, battery hold down installed, and the tachometer installed. Oh, and the NOS bottle installed. So normal people would probably get all that done in like an afternoon, but it took me a week. It's fine. So next week, let's get the NOS installed. First things first. Let's get this plumbed so I can determine how short we are, so I can order the right length hose, you know, and then I can spend $275, you know, next day airing that in so it gets here in time. Tomorrow morning, let's go take her for a spin. Because I was, you know, well, you guys haven't ridden around in her yet. mean, it really does. It's a good rig. It's gonna make somebody really happy. It's currently making me very happy. You know, those horns really set this car apart. You know, you might just look around and think this is a normal car until you see the horns. You know, and they really do it justice, I think. Yeah, they look good. I have gotten a couple looks. I think people are jealous. I mean, if it wasn't my car, I'd be jealous. Let's be honest. Should do a burnout, boys. Should do a burnout. All right, boys, I think that's going to do it for this week. We got, you know, a few little things tinkered with a little bit. She's really, all in all, pretty much ready to go. I do want to get a couple new tires for the rear, but we'll worry about that in the future. So next week, we're going to dive headlong into getting this NOS installed. We got the bottle in. Now we got to get her hooked up to the engine. So think about subscribing, telling your buddies about it, and we'll be back next week with more King Ranchero adventures.